Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a quick look at, listening to, and of course installing the Muffler Delete Axleback exhaust system with polished tips, available for the 15 and newer EcoBoost Mustang without active exhaust. You should be checking this out if you're looking to get rid of your factory mufflers to save some money up front, getting a nice loud volume and deep aggression added to your EcoBoost without picking up a full catback exhaust system. Deleting your mufflers can make such a huge difference to the sound profile of your EcoBoost, and as you just heard from our sound clips, as far as axlebacks go, I'm going to give this guy 5 out of 5 on our loudness meter. Really, you can't get much louder than just adding a straight pipe as opposed to picking up an aftermarket muffler system. This is literally just going to replace the axleback from the factory. You are going to have to cut it off with just simple piping. Now this tubing here is 2.5-inch mandrel bent 304 stainless steel, and all of that is just going to run from the under axle pipes straight back to the new tips, which are 4-inch slash cut double walled polished tips. All of this system being 304 stainless is going to mean it's the highest quality materials in the category, and as far as the design goes, again, pretty straightforward. It's just a simple tubing, replacing those factory mufflers. The sound that you get from that is pretty loud as far as axlebacks are concerned. This is going to be something that gives you a nice loud bark at startup, especially cold start, and as it warms up, it's going to give you a nice crisp, raspy sound for throughout the entire RPM band, really. And you might get a little bit of drone inside the cabin at highway speeds, but it's nothing to blow your eardrums out. Again, a little bit on the louder side of the spectrum as far as axlebacks go, because there's no baffling at all. Now, the pricing for this comes in right around $200, making it the most affordable exhaust mod that you can possibly do when it comes to axlebacks and catbacks. Obviously, catbacks are the preferred way to go for most people because it replaces the entire exhaust system, and you can really get custom with how you want to hear that exhaust sound. When it comes to an axleback, you're just replacing the mufflers, the tips, and just a little bit of tubing before that. With this guy, it's really just, again, a straight pipe. Now, the install for this, I am going to give 3 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter because it is a cut and clamp. When it comes to doing an axleback in general on your S550, you do have to cut off your factory mufflers because the exhaust is entirely one piece off the factory line. Now that cut's going to be pretty simple, straightforward right there, and I'm going to give you the measurements for that in just a little bit. When it comes to doing this, I will say before we get started, I am using a pre-cut exhaust system, so I'm going to mark the lines where you guys would be cutting on your factory exhaust, and then I'm going to swap them out with our pre-cut option to move forward from there. Now when it comes to doing this, it'll take you about an hour, maybe 2 from start to finish, depending on your personal experience. You want to have a cutting tool of your choice on deck, but if you're not comfortable tackling it yourself, no shame handing it over to a professional to get done properly. Now I'm going to show you every step of that process here. Let's get started. Tools used in this install include an impact gun, 16mm deep socket, Sharpie, tape measure, and a cutting tool of your choice. All right, first step here, we don't even have to unbolt anything. I just want to show you guys where the cutting is going to happen. Now, we already have a pre-cut exhaust that I'm going to swap this out for, but I want to show you guys where you guys will make the cut at approximately the right position here. You want to make sure you have a Sharpie, and you want to make sure you have a tape measure here on deck. I'm going to start on our passenger side at our muffler. You want to go to the hanger that connects to your subframe, and look at this bracket here, right there. You want to put the end of your tape measure right up against that, and then wrap the pipe like that. Right, so the tape measure is going to sit right like that. Now at this point, you want to mark 11 3/4 to about 12 inches into the pipe. So right here we have 11 3/4, 12 inches. You want to cut right there. The new pipe will come to about here. So you want to cut a little bit extra so that they slip inside of each other and connect properly so that you can clamp them down. So that's going to be where we're going to make our cut. And again, like I said, I already have a pre-cut exhaust, so we're not going to be cutting this one. But you want to grab your Sawzall, and of course measure twice, cut once, that's the rule. You're going to cut straight through there. A Sawzall with a thin metal kerf blade will do the trick. Cut right through it, or the cutting tool of your choice. So now you can measure and do the same thing on the other side as well. Same thing on this side, I'm just going to put that up against the bracket, bend it with the pipe itself. Now I know that 11 3/4 is the spot. So that's going to be it right there. All right, make your cut. I'm going to swap them out for a pre-cut one so we can move on to the install. Once you have this cut, you can just slip your muffler out of the hanger and set it aside. Now, before we get started comparing our factory mufflers to our new Muffler Delete kit, I want to quickly go through what exactly we have laid out on the floor here. On my right is a full, complete, one-piece, uncut factory exhaust off of an EcoBoost. To my left is what I just took off of our EcoBoost, what we just cut. This is our factory resonator pipe with the tailpipes going on under the axles at the rear. This situation should still be on your Mustang on the vehicle. I took it off here just to show you guys a quick side-by-side before we throw it back on. Now, you can see we made our cut up here just behind the muffler next to those factory hangers, so right here on the side, and that's going to connect to our new pipes. Now the new pipes are pretty simple to explain. It's a straight pipe. It's 304 stainless steel, so it's really high quality materials, and it's got mandrel bends, which means that the bends in the pipe, getting it around that angle, isn't kinked. It's not going to restrict airflow. It's a 2.5-inch pipe that goes into a 4-inch slash-cut double-walled polished tip. It's basically the same size diameter as your factory pipe. The only difference is the big old muffler's not in the way. So with that being essentially a straight pipe, with the exception of your factory resonator, you're going to get a little bit more horsepower and torque out of this because your factory mufflers were an airflow restriction, and of course you get the volume and the rasp that you heard from our sound clips earlier on. The tips are obviously very similar to the factory one, but just a little bit more polished. They're a little bit bigger, so they'll fill out the cutouts in your rear valance a little bit better, a little bit aggressive looking, but they are a more traditional polished finish. If you're not into the polish, there of course are aftermarket tips out there in black, carbon fiber, a number of different options for you to choose from to fit your personal preference, but this is going to be for the guys looking for that more traditional rear end look, just without the mufflers. So at this point, it's pretty easy to install. I'm going to throw this back on the vehicle, which again, should be already on yours, and then we'll go ahead and connect our new pipes. All right, so now that we have that cut, you can see we have a clean cut right here, right where we marked our line. So what we're going to do now is take our driver's side, is what I'm starting on. We're going to take the driver's side pipe. I have it lubricated. I'm going to insert the hanger into that isolator. Make sure I have a clamp on this side, and I'm going to bring it around and slip it right onto the pipe that we cut. You want to make sure it's lining up with the exhaust cutout where the tip is going to be. Tighten down that clamp. All right, same thing on the other side. All right, now you can wrap things up with your tip. Make sure you have a clamp on there, slide the tip in place, and tighten down the clamp. All right, same thing on the other side to wrap things up. That's going to wrap up my review and install for the Muffler Delete Axleback exhaust system with polished tips, available for the 15 and newer EcoBoost Mustang without active exhaust. And you can get yours right here at AmericanMuscle.com.